And hello to I yeah, Liru, you're gonna need to disable your T4 plugin. But yeah, Warwick, this is Liru. Liru, this is Warwick.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Liru is a what you would call a professional streamer, and Warwick's been doing this with FNF for how long, Warwick?
I've been doing FNF for 4 years now, but only recently started doing the shoutcast. Been doing the shoutcast for just a couple months. But professionally, I was in the radio business, and I did live commentary of football, baseball, and basketball games.
Very nice. I did the same with volleyball, softball, and a couple swim meets. Fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Liru's just Liru.
I did some shoutcasting work for TM. No, something. Gosh, I forget the name. They
definitely wasn't.
Not TM. It was They did a bunch of capture the flag stuff, and they had a big competition, brought in a bunch of teams. That was, I think, 2 years ago. And then I just laugh at 60-person player groups when they try to do a Zoosop and bash their heads against the wall. So it's lovely.
I think you're inflating the numbers a little bit, but yes, you are completely correct.
I mean, Fridays, bro.
Fridays, true. Fridays, yeah.
That's the one where they bash their. I told you today, right? They all charged against an IFE and died. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, because Recon didn't spot the IFE. Yeah.
They spot the snipers in the frickin' tower next to the IFE, but not the IFE. So, Warwick, do you got anything to say for what we've got in this first operation here? Anything about the players? Anything about the strategies you might see these groups do, since you are the leading veteran here in this community, I would say?
Well, we've got a little bit of a different type of matchup. With Carpenter and Indigo Fox leading this, Indigo Fox tends to favor sort of a head-on approach. From personal experience, it can be a little slow to adapt to firefights. Carpenter, when organizing defenses, I think he's one of the people here that really does just the standard turtling defense that is here at FNF. The big thing that I'm going to be worried about is the mat teams. They are testing out the javelins for both OPFOR and BLUFOR now, and that is going to be absolutely devastating to any poor IFV. These BTRs, if they're caught out in the open by a mat team, that's sayonara.
Oh yeah, when he brought that up like as they were pushing in, and I was just like, yeah. I'm trying to find them now. I think Victor Reznov was the AT man.
Yeah, he's in the tower right now climbing. He's the only AT javelin guy I see, though. My leading issue with it, though, is that, at least for how this map is designed, he doesn't really have any good long-range vantage points to use that on. The tower being the only decent one, but it's got a big chunk of jungle right in front of it that's going to be the main cover for the Red 4 team to come onto this objective. So, even though they have a really good long-range asset, it's really tough to find a position for him to deploy properly, and I don't think he's going to be able to get a good use of it unless he catches them on either the western flank or the southern flank as they push around.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't think the flanks
also, hi, Boo.
BTRs will come into... It might come into play super late, or about towards the halfway mark, towards the end, because Indigo does like to use the BTRs to push infantry in under a base of fire. Typically they will set those BTRs up on a ridge point and use their firepower to move infantry in under their cone.
Yeah, and especially with that kind of theory on how to move the infantry up, it's going to be a game of who sees who first. because if Red 4 infantry are able to spot the javelin gunner and suppress him or even outright kill him quick enough, then that it delays the javelin being used. Someone else has to go and pick it up, or it takes it out of the fight if they're able to then secure it. But especially on this tower, I think this tower is just about the best position. But if he's able to get that javelin off, do you know if it's the cup or the RHS javelin?
I'm not sure. Martin did not divulge that in great detail. I would believe it would be the RHS javelin.
If it is the RHS one, and Liru can attest to this, it will not miss.
Mm-hmm.
There will be nothing in the world that will stop that. It can lock onto any heat source, even infantry. So if he sees a lone dude, like he could lock onto a marksman with that javelin.
Anything that makes a thermal signature. So if he wants to screw a bunny off in the distance, he can screw that bunny.
And Liru knows all about screwing bunnies, but it will be very hard for that BTR to push up if they get spotted. And if it's carrying a full load of infantry...
See, he's going to insult me all throughout this commentary, and it makes me very, very sad.
About a dozen troops.
Now, I don't think that they'll use the BTRs as actual transport. Very rarely does that actually happen in FNFs, only when we're really wanting to move super quick. Or we're using the BTR as an IFV. Will we blow down a BTR? Typically, we'll have the BTRs run separately from their infantry, and have the infantry just push alongside them while detached from the BTRs.
But you were saying that Indigo likes to use those BTRs to move the infantry, correct? Or did I mishear you?
Move the infantry under the BTR's cone of fire. So he'll set them up.
Brain, thanks for the 7-month
I
reset
see
of T3.
right.
Hope you keep enjoying the ops. Hope you get a kick out of
He'll
this
set it up
one.
and the BTR will cover the infantry as they move up.
Same with you, Shadow Spark. Thanks for the 5-month resub. Hope you are staying safe among Corona.
Gotcha.
Hope you get a kick out of this. So I don't know about you two, but I've been looking at this AO, at least in the defensive side, in great detail. And Terminal 3, I can understand a good defensive position because there's, a lot of structures and cover around it, and it's also close to the jungle tree line. But the other two terminals to the south and east, there's not really much there to defend. It really makes me consider how they're going to execute this. Let's see. If we look at Terminal 1, for example, there's two entrances. There's the one from the west and the little doorway from the northeast. I don't think you can enhance movement over these walls because they're too tall. But at least looking at the, the southwestern opening, there is a window right there with really good sight lines that's also going to give them some defenses for grenades. But the other entrance, looks like there are two again, one on the northwest and one on the southeast. Again, you've got a decent window, but it's on the second story to overwatch the main entrance, but that back door is also concerning. So if I was in BLUFOR's shoes, I'd probably only put a few guys on the southern objectives, because all you really need is 4 guys to lock those areas down. But the rest just kind of have fortified over the western one, because that's where you have the most avenues of defense to pull off something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think what will end up happening is...
And Winter, thanks for the 5 gift subs.
The main defensive point. And possibly what I can see here with, if you look at the Delta teams, they might set up into one of these, one of the compounds on this high ground, or even in that small little grove of trees where they're currently at, and use that just to maintain eyes on the other two objectives and blunt the assault as it comes in. A lot of the times in FNF, we'll have sacrificial objectives, like one that we know we're not going to defend, but we'll use it to get eyes on enemy forces and pick targets off as they move in and move through those objectives.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to do it, is to just put, because there's no penalty for losing Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, correct?
Correct.
Other than losing the objective. Yeah, so I would not be surprised if they just really turtle up around Terminal 3. You have all these buildings, you have the minaret, you have, these walled compounds with roof access and everything, and as well as, the natural terrain. you could theoretically just spread out your infantry, especially where Viktor Reznov is now, although he's leaving now. But that hill also is a very good vantage point to spot out that BTR, to spot out movement. So yeah, to just kind of
It's one
pester
life per
them and
round.
pick off their numbers, try and whittle away that numbers advantage that they get because of the balancing of the mission. I think that would be a pretty solid way to do it if they're able to do it right.
So speaking of Victor, he is the guy with the javelin. I think he's moving to this open hill, trying to find a good hill that gives him good eyes on both the southern and western approaches on the sides of those tree lines. To be perfectly honest, I think the previous position he was at was a little bit better, but I can understand why he's trying to get better sight lines. If he were to go more towards the, what is this, the southeastern tree, he's got easy sight lines to the south, but he's also got a nice little keyhole of a position looking just where the forest kind of breaks off to the west. Compared to the other position he's at right now, this just feels way too open compared to where he previously was.
Yeah, and I think they just recognize that, and they're moving back southwest and trying to reposition. He's going in the direction of the Minaret Tower. I wonder if they're going to just stick up there and deal with what minimal backblast there is from the Javelin missile launcher.
Side note, I keep watching Firefight like fall out of the tower. It's kind of amusing.
Seriously, what, the hole halfway, or almost at the top of the tower?
Yeah, he's fallen out twice, but I think the damage is disabled until the round actually starts. Also, for the RHS Javelin, there is virtually no backblast. It's only at like a 20-degree angle. And even if you do backblast yourself, it only gives you like a cut or something. But the Javelin in real life has no backblast.
Yeah.
So they try to model that. Yeah.
I will say, it appears I have spoken just a little bit too soon on how they are going to be using the BTRs, because if you look at OPFOR right now, they are piling on to the BTRs.
Oh, yeah, this is their only vehicle to get from their staging point to the AO. I would not have that infantry walk,
Yeah.
2 clicks to the AO? Even if they drop them off, a click beforehand and walk the rest of the way, that cuts down on time a lot.
It has been done before, though.
Dude, I've already seen some really crazy stuff, even from last week with the Capture the Flag mission, where I had Liru on for that, and the
commander. You guys in chat have any questions, by the way, I'll answer them best I can.
To grab the flag and bring it back to base when there were 6 friendlies just waiting at the capture zone. So I believe it.
Something else good to note here is that one of the Bradleys has a majority of the infantry, and the other, BTR, has a majority of the infantry, and the other one only has about 4 guys extra for about a fire team. Looks like it's because I saw Bradley get out and go to the other ones. That's why I said Bradley.
Fair.
He's getting in the other one to make that now a 5-man team that'll move. So looks like OPFOR is going to go for a single push, either on the left or right flank, or they might try to risk it through the forest. But that 5-man team and the other BTR is probably going to go at a different angle and try to get some overwatch, possibly hunt down that AT team with the Javelin. So we'll have to see what they decide to do in just a minute when they deploy.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of keeping the squads together, so they have, I'm assuming, two squads in one, and then one squad in the other.
Oni.
I'm not sure how they have it split up exactly, but that's how I would assume.
Either way, we'll have to see how it goes, but now we watch Bradley get out of that BTR and go into the other BTR, so a little bit of last-minute unit changing there.
Musical chairs,
And Jay, thanks for the 7-month resub. It's the players purely killing each other.
I do hope for their sake, for
we'll see how things go. But nonetheless, hope you've been enjoying the ops there. We get a kick out of this.
About half a click northeast of their position, of OPFOR's position, where it's just an open field with no terrain change. But now that I say that, BLUFOR won't be able to spot them at all, even from the minaret, so that's not going to be a concern. This forest does act as a pretty nice kind of natural concealment buffer for the OPFOR to push up. Not perfect, but, good enough for the most part.
I wouldn't worry too much on the movement approach. The second MRB is commanding the
honestly, your silky
BTRs
voice
right
now my nips could cut
glue. There's one thing that they have down pat. It's the.
You can't say that when Bloodwing's here.
A very flexible and
you can't say that.
easy to work with movement unit.
Mhm.
Wait, maybe she left
And, yeah,
chat.
it looks like they are just
Maybe she
circling
left
around
chat.
Terminal 3.
Maybe
They set up some
maybe I'll
airfield
be
areas and
okay.
a bunker on top of
Bloodwind
the
was here earlier.
bigger building in that compound. Victor's on top of the minaret with that javelin ready to go.
Okay, cool.
And
She's
we
gone.
have
Cool. Hey, Chris, how
another
are you doing?
element
How's the
to
kid?
the east, watching south and doing exactly what we were talking about earlier, just watching and
But thank
trying
you for the
to
$20,
observe,
Nim. I'm
get bearing
gonna use
on
that to
the enemy's
buy
movements,
mead
maybe
later.
try and pick them off
I
once
gotta
they
get
get
back into
closer.
this because
But
it's fun.
it's going to be
Oh my god.
Terminal 3 will be their Alamo. And interestingly enough, we have Santos. I think he's just watching the far flank to the north. He's going what looks like to be a hill 2-6. And he's just, I guess he's just going to be an early warning, kind of a sacrifice. Although he is the marksman, so he won't be, it's the classic case of the marksman going lone wolf. And, we'll see what he's able to do.
Well, you got to think about their positioning here. They've got that command structure in the back, and they've put a bunch of extra trenches along that lines. But again, it gives them good sight lines on that southern approach. So they're going to put their marksmen out on the western approach just to see if they're going to come from that direction. Because in these types of one life PvP scenarios, intel is everything. So if BLUFOR can get a good hint on where OPFOR is going to come early, the BLUFOR commander can adjust his units on certain flanks accordingly and have time to prepare for them to come in on that direction. Alternatively, if the marksman doesn't see anything, they see them come from the other flank, then he could reposition behind OPFOR and get 1 or 2 kills in, which can make all the difference in a scenario like this.
Absolutely, and if he were to be able to exploit the flank, like say if he wasn't spotted, he could take out 2 or 3. That's big numbers.
Sorry to cut you off for a second, but he's got to be careful because the BTR going towards him on the flank, its gun is looking right at his position. I don't think it was it spotted him, but I think Santos here definitely spotted it because he immediately went prone, took out a Vector. Yep, a Vector 21 there, and he's scouting it out, so he will be able to report that back to BLUFOR and maybe give information on it. But what's interesting about this is that's that only has a few dudes in it. The main force is already deployed back there, so it could possibly be a feint that BLUFOR might then reinforce for against.
And I think Santos did spot them, and he's not going to try and fight a BTR. That's a good way to get killed.
Yeah.
Santos definitely saw it, and there's one lone guy out there isn't going to be able to do anything.
No, and we have a 3-man team being dismounted from that BTR, and I wonder what kind of cab service
Chris,
they're
I'm
doing.
sorry to hear that, but I don't believe you.
You got to be careful to stay within the boundaries, but it's pretty obvious, when they get outside of it. I think the BTR is just taken to the low ground. Now that I say that,
it is a little curious. The team that they've chosen to drop off here, because that is a MMG team.
That they have just 1 or 2 PKPs. 1 PKP, an AK-74 with a GP-25, and then just a regular old AK-74. I wonder if they spotted Santos. And
they did not. The formation they're doing right now, they're just going up there to overwatch, but I did not see any indication from the gunner seat that they noticed that he was there. Otherwise, that BTR would be on a lot wider of a flank to overwatch the infantry as they moved onto that hill. So this is just pure chance at this point.
Yeah, it is the highest hill in the area, so it's a natural kind of collection point for them. But Santos, he has repositioned. He has a nice, comfortable boulder to hide behind to protect him, and so he's probably going to keep eyes on that hill from now on. Elsewhere, we have the rest of the infantry to the south dismounting and proceeding along foot in the low ground in this kind of valley almost, proceeding along to the south of the objectives, proceeding along just following the terrain.
Something I want to point out here, though, if you look at BLUFOR right now, they've got a lot of dudes looking in that OPFOR direction of the team that came in. So Santos definitely got a notification out to the rest of his guys. That's taking eyes away from that southern flank, but hopefully that Vanguard force, I mean, even the Vanguard force on the eastern flank, a lot of those heads are turned to the west. So that's going to maximize the ability for OPFOR to come in and get very close to BLUFOR without them knowing. So it is a feint strategy.
And we in that minaret, we do have
Hey, Bloodwayne, how
Victor
you
Reznov still.
doing?
He's just. I
You
think they're
didn't
just
see
keeping him
anything,
hidden
right?
until they decide to bring him out and strike when he's needed. And yeah, if Santos is able to call out that there's a
Hold up, he's
BTR.
in trouble. The LCPL up there just put Binox right on him, and they pulled back for a minute. Not sure if they saw Santos specifically, but it looks like they did. But maybe it's not the case, because otherwise that BTR should be adjusting to engage.
BTR is pointing at him, but I think that's just coincidence.
Oh,
And Santos is engaging.
Cyrus
Nope, so they
is
didn't
hit.
get him.
Cyrus is hit. That's the. Is that the element leader?
Cyrus is the element leader. That is correct.
But otherwise,
Santos is now triple timing out of there with his binos. He's going to probably beat the BTR because the BTR only pulled back defensively. Had the BTR been a little more coordinated, he might have been able to gun out Santos in the open. But now the BTR is on the move, pulling off to the left, trying to find... No, it's pulling back. I think they think there's more than one guy out there. Because if they didn't, there would be no reason for the BTR to pull back that quickly. So now OPFOR is spooked.
They probably think that there's more than one guy out there. So they've pulled the BTR off the high ground with the infantry just to get some spacing between the infantry and the BTR, and moved it to the second best firing position for it, which is just this slight little bit of raised ground that's here, and they're just keeping an eye on this whole field of approach.
I wonder what's going through their head because there's only the one rifle that shot out, and I'm also wondering over here about Reznov possibly bringing that out, and I mean because that's what the javelin is for. It is for those BTRs, absolutely.
Meanwhile, the main OPFOR force, they're trying to spot what they can, but I believe their platoon group, or at least Indigo Fox, has spotted the Vanguard team in the back, probably drawn in because of all of those trenches that they dug, sticking them out like a sore thumb. And looking at the BLUFOR position, I see binos going out to the southwest, but no actual sightings here. So I believe OPFOR is aware of that rear position on BLUFOR's side, but BLUFOR has not spotted their main force just yet.
That entrenched position that the BLUFOR Delta 1 and I think a few others are sitting at, that is going to be an absolute pain on both of the objectives that are left undefended, because there's, I believe, a MMG team with that and many other rifles. So any progress that's going to be made is going to be under supreme base of fire, and it's just going to be slow going and bloody.
Yeah, and we'll see. They probably won't know what the what guys the BLUFOR is going for. I'm sorry, in reference to Red 4 until they get close to Terminal 1 or Terminal 2. Once they realize that they're leaving them undefended, I would hope that they'd catch on pretty quick to what BLUFOR's plan is.
Looks like that OPFOR force is packing up in their BTR.
Yep, so they scouted out the northern flank. 3 dudes pulled out their binos, just making sure there was nothing over there. Now they're moving it around. Meanwhile, Santos is still trying to find another angle to engage him at this hill. He doesn't realize that they have mounted up and could possibly redeploy on his right towards the northwest. Also, OPFOR is starting to move their main force into the southern side of that forestry, so that main fight should start in just a minute or two. Let's give him a warm welcome. Meanwhile, Santos now has eyes on that BTR, watching it pull around. He'll probably relay that to his commander, and he'll still probably try to get an angle on to harass the guys that are in it. Though he might not think that the infantry went in it. I still see him turning around and looking on that rear hill. So he's now confused as to where the infantry are.
Yeah, and that BTR is dismounting people in these buildings. I think they're just trying to, use deductive reasoning and you know, I'm sure they're figuring that Santos would, or whoever Santos would be, would hide in these buildings and not be out in the open. So they're checking the most, I guess, logical position first, but they're going to find quickly that he's not here. But I think Santos will figure out that the OPFOR is here before the other way around.
BLUFOR, meanwhile, still having a lot of eyes to the northwest. That vanguard position, actually, a lot of people are pulling off of that. That is kind of unfortunate. But look, they've made all these fortifications facing west now, thinking that the main force is going to come from that direction. So, again, just all part of that feint. It's going to catch a lot of BLUFOR guys out of position when the initial assault happens, unless someone in BLUFOR spots that infantry group moving. We have one guy looking out to the southwest right now. He doesn't have binos out. He's just watching. So, OPFOR with that feint, very good call, because BLUFOR is definitely out of position here.
Yeah, now that we see the main force of OPFOR coming in through that forest, lots of concealment, lots of terrain. I think they're going to be able to get very close to Terminal 3 before they get spotted.
I mean, hell, Santos is still watching the southwest for that three-man infantry group. He does not realize that they have moved with that BTR. He might have just seen whoever D1 is. That would be the corporal over there on top of a building, but
no,
otherwise, we'll have to see. No, he knows the BTR's over there. He just doesn't know that the infantry mounted up in that BTR. So now he's going to pull away to the west because he's still hunting for those three guys because he can't do anything about that BTR.
Right. BTR's it's pulling off on this road going towards BLUFOR's positions.
Yep, Victor, who has that javelin, he's waiting in the Minaret tower, but he might have a shot on that BTR in a minute or two.
Yeah, it's definitely driving right into one of the kill zones for it.
Mm-hmm. And Victor hasn't been pulled out yet. I'm sure they got people on the lookout for it, but once this BTR starts firing, I'm sure he's going to be able to be a little bit autonomous with his decision and peek out and try and take it out.
So that Vanguard team has completely pulled off of that hill, and they're going to the open hill now to the north. They have completely left the southern flank exposed. I cannot believe this.
They definitely have just completely overreacted, and I do think that Santos may have he called in an attack coming from there, but I think what might have happened is he called in inaccurate numbers, because where he did just see the one, maybe two people, maybe he saw Lance Corporal Nutty and Corporal Cyrus up there on that hill. That could easily be, oh, that's a platoon element.
Something to note on Santos right now, I think he does believe that the attack's coming from here because he's guns up right now. He's looking for that three-man team, again, not realizing that they have moved off with that BTR. Now, the real critical thing about all this is this won't mean anything if OPFOR can't come in to capitalize on it. Another thing that we should note here is when OPFOR goes in and captures the terminal, is there going to be a pop-up for everybody?
Yes, there will be a notification that the hack has started on, which terminal is it? That's Terminal 1.
If I was in OPFOR's shoes and I went into a terminal site and saw it completely empty, I would not touch it because that would give away your advantage, because that says, hey, look, everyone's over here instead. And then once they turn and actually start looking, they'll see that, there's a lot of people over there and they're going to lose that advantage.
And that's, I think, what we're happening with T5 Bay, who actually is the medic. The medic is on point.
I hate it when they do that.
I know, right? But they're pushing in here, and they're finding it completely empty. They're not believing it at first, but I think now that they understand that at the very least, this objective is completely clear.
If they get antsy and they can, if they get antsy and tip this one off, that's really going to skew things. But if they play this right and assess what BLUFOR has done here, they can send off one of the two elements that they've got at this terminal site to the other and do a simultaneous hack. With that, both of the terminals will start to go up. They can use the force that's already in the trees to move that onto the flank as the main BLUFOR defense starts going out, but it looks...
There it
no,
is.
You overestimated.
Yeah, so,
because
I mean, BLUFOR already sent 4 guys back to that Vanguard position. I'm seeing some shots going back and forth. Looks like one of the OPFOR guys is engaging units up on the Minaret Tower. That would be Wiki shooting up there. But, yeah, no, the advantage is gone. We're seeing a lot of movement along BLUFOR. They're redeploying their units now to face the south. Really, even though OPFOR had the opening here, they didn't have any units to kind of say, hey, you know, they're redeploying off of XYZ. Also, the BTR or MG is now firing up on that Minaret Tower as well. But if OPFOR had something to give them intel on BLUFOR's positions, like a scout or something way off on the flank, then they might have been able to capitalize. But I'm not surprised they didn't because, you know, how would they have known?
I do think what will happen is the large group will be pulled back into this forest, and maybe this D2 group here for OPFOR is going to be sent out to get that secondary terminal.
They got to be careful, though, because they BLUFOR is now re-garrisoning that fortified Vanguard position. They do have M240 Bravos with 7.62, and that can easily kill the Russian players off if they're caught in the open. And that trek from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 does have a lot of openings here.
It does have a lot of openings, but one of the things that First Lieutenant Anderson is really good at is he's very good at keeping us cool under pressure. And
I'm sorry, we do have a casualty on BLUFOR. One of the mechs just went down near Victor Reznanov's position. I do believe they have spotted that javelin gunner because the BTR to the north is focusing
dead body.
hard on that position. It kept Victor Reznov suppressed for, I'd say, close to a minute of just straight machine gun fire, and the medic now is down over there.
Now the Vanguard position is set up at 240. It's suppressing that MG position. The Lcpl, he got hit a few times in the leg. PKM returning fire. BTR now coming very close. They got to be careful because it's going to start getting into M136 range, and there are a lot of them on these BLUFOR guys. But there is enfilading fire going on that Vanguard position. Someone far, I believe it might be Wiki again. Nope, it's Quigley. He is, let's see, he's armed with an SVD. He is trying to get marksman shots on him, but he is delivering some nice flanking shots in this enfilading fire, and he just got a hit on Foos S there, and he's forced him to reposition.
Now, I'm a little curious as to why the second BTR hasn't been brought into this fight.
I'm thinking it's being kept on reserve because they don't want to. If I was in the OPFOR's position for their ground command, if I knew the enemies had javelins, I would prioritize getting rid of them before committing my BTRs because you never know.
Stauffenberg has taken a number of shots from that marksman. It's able to keep him suppressed. I think they do know the vector where those shots are coming in from, but.
By the way, Ideen, who was the PKP gunner from the looks of it, from that one little BTR team, he is down. He's not dead, though, so they just lost a lot of their firepower on that Vanguard position.
Yeah, Ideen. Oh, he just woke back up, so he will survive for now. They're popping smoke and going to try and reposition, possibly using that BTR. Would probably be their best bet.
Like, Lieutenant Anderson is GLing the BLUFOR defensive position, the Delta 1 position, with very accurate GLs.
Now, what's interesting is if you look back towards Terminal 3, I'm seeing a good 12 to 15 plus of Red 4 pushing up through that forest. They know what's going on. They're not going to try and push to Terminal 2. They're trying to go for Terminal 3. They're going to take this head on. And we do have Santos further to their northwest, looking in or in that jungle. I don't know if he's keeping eyes out or if he's just waiting to hear orders, but he's moving in, and he should be able to see some of those Red 4 now.
BLUFOR has spotted the hold on. Victor, the javelin guy's dead. He started taking pot shots at the OPFOR guys that were coming in, and someone just headshotted him and knocked the javelin gunner out.
That is unfortunate, especially now that the second BTR is actually moving into the AO here, and is beginning to open up on that far flank of BLUFOR.
That enfilading fire. I just want to point out the enfilading fire on the BLUFOR position between the machine gun and the BTR, and now that Dean is back up. It's beautiful watching those tracers coming on both sides, because BLUFOR does not know what to do here. I've seen them dig even more trenches now to try to cover themselves from it, but it is definitely a mess for BLUFOR right now.
I think
Also,
making them targets, yeah.
Santos is coming in on the forest. He is now back here. He just got shot twice, though, by Carlson. And
yeah, he tried to take some pot shots, but I don't think he was very effective at all. And he's been spotted out by Carlson, who is a little bit away from the rest of the force. But you have Erb, Ramirez, Chuplis, Drake, Nielsen, a good squad's worth of infantry looking directly at his position. It looks like Santos is going to try and pop smoke and withdraw, but if Red 4's, they're shooting GPs at him. If they're ever able to push up to him quick enough, they're going to catch him out, and it's not going to even be a contest.
The Vanguard position is trying to do its best to get eyes on, but they're being shot at by 2 machine guns. I'm hearing that the BTR, second one, is now suppressing that position as well. They got to pretty much dislocate here, leave that position, because it's just a big target at this point.
Santos is trying to take some down with him. Looks like he's going to be holding this position and not trying to withdraw. Which I think is his best bet. Take his as I say that, he turns around and takes his tail between his legs and tries to get out of here.
By the way, that first BTR is moving around. It's going on a different flank. Whether or not it's going to try to hunt Santos or it's trying to keep that Minaret tower locked down, I do not know.
Let's see if we can find who picked up that javelin. Just because it's down does not mean it's out of the fight.
So some random 249 gunner on BLUFOR who was off on his own by the forest just got dunked on. And that javelin's still up in the Minaret tower. No one's picked it up.
Hoyt's, he's looking at the assistant missile man, I think trying to get the ammo for it, but he's not sure of where it is. He's going up in the Minaret. Maybe not. If he does go up in there, he'll be able to find it pretty easily, but that's yet to be seen.
I think there's a little bit of fear about the Minaret tower because it has been so heavily suppressed.
Meanwhile, there is a KIA at the BLUFOR Vanguard position. They're just suppressed by that BTR. And without that javelin... Hold on. Hoyt is now up there. I think he's trying to pick it up. But he can't walk past the body on the tower. He's got to move his dead friendly aside. Oh, nope, he's got the javelin.
He's got it.
Another goes down for the... on the Vanguard for BLUFOR. Strathenberg goes down. He's down but not dead. They're smoking the position right now, trying to pull out.
I saw another shot go in his ass as that happened, but I think Frosty's going to try to medic him up. Meanwhile, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name.
To his west. Oh, no. I think it's hunting him out. Go ahead, Liru. Sorry.
Sorry. No, they just have a guy doing some blind suppression because Frosty was trying to pick up Slythen. He got him up, and now they're going to probably pull off of that position. You already see Pierce trying to move back, but whether the rest of this group follows is anyone's guess. We also still have this 3-man team back here. I am seeing them fling some GLs over in that position. It looks like Dean is bending over, and they're bipoding on... Look at this. He's literally standing on Dean, and now they've got the bipod gun as he floats up there.
Oh my god. That's beautiful.
That is a little cheeky, though.
That's a little gamey in my opinion, but I mean they're trying to make him they're trying to make it look like he's standing on somebody, but I mean they did have Dean move away for Cyrus to get under him as they deployed the bipod, but that's hilarious.
That is Cyrus and Nutty Person. That is incredible, in my opinion.
So by the way, that Vanguard position's down to 4. I don't know who died, but
Santos is still up. He's still trying to take pot shots. That BTR is about 50 meters away from him, and he's still trying to take pot shots. The mad lad.
Yeah, that BTR is going to hone in on his position, though. He does not have that much time left.
Gunner is looking at the tree that he's behind, but I don't think he sees him yet.
He was able to hit Ramirez. He is down but not dead. And Santos just backed up. Nope, he's still behind that tree, and that BTR is hunting him. does not have a lot of time left.
One of the trees. He just doesn't know which tree.
Also,
Not yet.
BLUFOR was in a bunker position watching the southwest. They have ditched that because now you're seeing OPFOR putting some AT rounds in it, so smart play there.
We do have an element from Red 4 going towards Terminal 2. They're clearing it out nice and slow, but they'll be able to take that pretty soon as well.
So meanwhile, the position that May and Ehoid are on, they got to be careful because that could easily be flanked from that OPFOR position to the north, but the northern OPFOR position is still concerned about the remnant from that Vanguard position and are still suppressing.
Santos is able to scratch one. That is his first kill in this position. But
Montgomery charging him, though, and he goes down.
Yeah, that is a dead not down.
Ho, ho, ho.
I will say, I think I know what the plan is here for OPFOR. Once, I think that them moving that Vanguard position back into town is actually the best thing that they're going to hope for here, because I do believe what they're trying to do is corral them into this cache site and move them there so that way they can envelop the contact on all sides.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, I just witnessed something amazing. If you look at the BTR to the west of BLUFOR's position, you may see a crater. One of the combat engineers tried to, they had a mine or a depth block or something laid down there about 10 meters in front of the BTR, and they misjudged that. It was way away from that position, and it wasn't even scratched.
I was just about to call that out too. The BTR somehow spotted whatever was there and was able to back away last second just as the charge went off.
Incredible. I mean, this is
right. Winter. I don't think it's going to happen though.
Adjustment and what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, they're working on the fly. They're adjusting to what blue.
Hold up. Sorry to interrupt you, Barbarian. Look at Hoyt. He's looking for the freaking southern BTR, but if he were to literally turn around to the north right now, he'd have a perfect shot on the other BTR. Hold up. He just looked over there. Oh, no, he's getting shot by a BTR!
He's still alive, but he's probably going to get executed by that BTR.
Oh, that's gotta suck. I mean, so even though there was a feint up there, I was calling out that this position could easily be flanked by those guys on north, but instead the BTR came in. Norse trying to hide behind the dead body, but he goes down too. And I mean, May here can't even see the BTR through the tree, but holy crap.
And now we have an element of Red 4 pushing up on this position.
Yep.
May, well, a grenade goes over.
And grenade's right by Wheaton.
Ooh, one landed right on him. He's crippled.
And May is suppressed. Norse is down. That javelin is effectively out of the fight. The BTR is moving now, but I feel like it should stay there and just watch that javelin.
Yep. No, it's a good thing he moved, though, because Olaf does have an M136. Oh, but he's got a perfect shot on that BTR, but he misses! He goes right over it! Oh! Oh, that was his only AT, and I don't see anyone else with a stick around here. Oh, hold up. There is a chance with Give Me Your Milk. What a name. He is looking for it. And he gets the hit on it, but is the BTR...
It's smoking.
It is cooking.
That's it. That'll be an engine kill on the BTR.
Oh, and May was going for a flank, he jumped off the two-story building and tried to do a flank on Ramirez and Chuplis, but was caught in the back.
Nielsen throwing that grenade. I just watched Nielsen almost kill himself with his own grenade. He threw it to try to force Wheaton back, and then he went in as it was about to go off.
Drake throws a grenade, but strong arms it a...
It was a smoke grenade.
Now here's a couple more, and they get Wheaton.
Wheaton takes a bit of shrapnel right to the cerebral cortex, and he goes down.
Now get this, OPFOR is now on BLUFOR's Vanguard position, firing with an auto rifle. They're also getting the BTR up there. And now they're firing into BLUFOR defensive positions and catching them on the flank.
One
of
the BTRs did go down.
Yep, that was to a M136 shot by Give Me Your Milk after Olaf missed his.
Oh, right.
But this is pretty much effectively perfect for OPFOR now. They've got all of BLUFOR corralled into a very small position. They have complete control over high ground and any type of base of fire position that can be set up. And from here, it's just picking off solo targets and assaulting this base. They're just completely enveloping the contact that they know about here and just working it over.
Yeah, especially with them being sandwiched. The BTR on the east is acting. I mean, it's almost even between the amount of infantry on the west and the volume of fire that the BTR can produce from on the east. It's just a matter of time before just the sandwich collapses on BLUFOR and takes them out.
I want to see May wake up by these 4 dudes medicing, because then Chupis is going to level into him with the PCAM. Oh, they're double tapping.
As you say that. I mean, they're still up, but May is not going to wake up from that.
No, after getting mag dumped like that, no.
So we have 12 people left on BLUFOR. I'm seeing 6 alone by Terminal 3, outnumbering them 2 to 3. Another squad size element to the west and the fire team to the east. OPFOR, and we still have Ideen and Cyrus up there, still doing their little cheeky idea. Actually, no, they're not, but I digress.
Still, what's even more heartbreaking for the BLUFOR here is that OPFOR has managed to corral the largest defense in a completely separate compound from the terminal.
Yep.
Yes, that is very true. Where they have all those ESCOs set up, they're now effectively suppressed in this little house where they're taking MG fire from one side and MG fire from the other.
Night Owl, not sure what was there if he was trying to double tap, but a little bit of blue on blue.
And we're having this Red 4 element now push into where that Javelin is now. About 4 or 5 dudes pushing in. We got pads here as the last remaining BLUFOR in this specific part of the compound. Carson's pushing up.
Oh, Carson deciding to throw a grenade. Manages to get the kill, though. Whew.
One of the 240s for the BLUFOR goes down.
Boston fires a GP at Carlson, but the minimum safe distance engages and the round doesn't explode.
I just watched Pearson get on the rooftop of a building and get immediately cut down by that BTR. Those 3 BLUFOR guys are pretty much boxed in. It's going to be up to Carpenter and Logan and Boston to keep that terminal safe. Boston
takes down Carlson.
Gets a double kill right there. They're not dead, but he did put a lot of rounds in both of them by jumping up. That's a really good spot to be in because it lets him peek over. Ramirez throwing a grenade, but it is far.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what
and now
Carlson and Herb as well. Boston's firing on them.
Oh!
Somehow Bay gets the kill, even though he was completely in the open. He has to be hurt from that, though.
Oh,
I've seen damage on his legs.
All over the place.
Yep.
But now Ramirez and Bay will be able to push up into the compound and as well as the rest of the Red 4 element here and work on Logan and Chief Carpenter.
Might do Warhammer
confused
tomorrow.
with Captain Contractor. That's a joke literally only for Liru.
Why'd you bring up Captain Contractor?
Because Chief Carpenter. Chief Carpenter and Captain.
Gotcha.
So anyway, Chief Carpenter throws a grenade in the alleyway, thinking that Red 4 is there, but they are nowhere to be seen.
Watching Indigo also suppress into that BLUFOR house. There's only 3 of them left. A lot of the dudes in here are dead, unfortunately. There's bandages all across the floor. And this position is effectively suppressed because I don't see anyone alive with a machine gun. Nope, scratch that. There is one with a 240, but they're pinned from that BTR. They've got infantry coming close to their position, and they also had other infantry, specifically Indigo, looking into there. So I think they're pretty much down for the count. Maybe Olaf and Give can go off and flank something, but they've also got to be careful because they're back to Cyrus and Dean are on that Overwatch position now, popping GP25 ammunition, but it did hit close to friendly OPFOR position, so they got to be careful. But otherwise, again, it's just going to be down to Carpenter and Logan here to hold off what is essentially going to be 2 squads worth of infantry.
Mm-hmm. And they're, I think, playing it about as best they can. Carpenter is on the lowest of low stances, watching the crack under the door for any signs of OPFOR even approaching. And Logan is just holding the corner close with that M16.
Arf, that's a good position he's in. Unfortunately, he's very easily grenadable because of that doorway, but you're right, Carpenter has a really good spot, but if someone pops a grenade in from that window, he's also incredibly laid out and exposed, so...
Yeah, I think right now it's just a matter of, nothing's going to be perfect. Do the best with what they can. And right now they have 2 mammoth rifles. Watch the ingress points. Deal with anyone who tries to come in. And then if they get found out, then worry about the windows and grenades coming in. But it's just a matter of worrying about what they can worry about.
So Montgomery throwing a smoke grenade over. He's throwing another smoke grenade over. Don't know what he's planning with those. A third smoke grenade going over. And you have Ramirez spraying up at Olaf's position, who's in the market. He could easily get flanked by Dean, though, and it happens. Cyrus shoots Olaf and knocks him out.
No, something interesting happening back in Terminal 3.
Milk now looking up. Oh, Montgomery's going in. And Montgomery barely winning that fight. Or excuse me, Logan barely winning that fight. Montgomery goes down, but he sprayed his bullets all over the place, not keeping him on target, and unfortunately took a lot of damage for that. That forced Logan to pull out. Got a grenade right on Ramirez.
Oh, but Logan moves while firing, but the grenade saves him.
Grenade saves him. That's amazing. So we got Anderson going around the flank. Jamia also going. So they gotta be careful. Bay now flanking over and manages to get Logan down. It is up to Carpenter.
What a maneuver.
It is up to Carpenter, but we've seen many. Oh god.
Oh, was that a debt block? Or
that was a debt block. I guess to take out the walls, Carson wanted to put that down so he can now breach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think everyone was informed about that. Otherwise, Ramirez wouldn't have vaulted that wall. So, I'm going to state this publicly to you guys because my chat's asking a lot of questions about RHS Russian body armor. Friday Night Fights, they have a custom mod. I actually looked at it where they change the config ratios of the armors so it's all even. So even though it's Russians versus US, they all have the same armor ratings.
That is correct. So, and with the medical settings,
Carlson just won the game.
Absolutely. So,
Carpenter was distracted by T5 and R. Sorry, go ahead, Barb.
No, you're absolutely right. He got distracted. He got shot in the back of the head, and that's going to be essentially the game. But to bring that up, yes, the custom conflicts that they have here at Friday Night Fights does mean that the damage models are similar, if not exactly, for each other. So you will see troops, or players take a number of shots before they go down, but that will be interesting. Or sorry, that will be equal. And what
Staff is running back. Sorry to cut you off because he's coming in.
Go ahead. That's what I was. It's interesting. Is Staffenberger trying to fix the game for BLUFOR?
I think he just has to touch the terminal, right? So he's got 1 minute to do it. He's gonna run right in. Bay's right there though, not looking. Wait, but he didn't clear his corner. Staff, if he cleared the corner, would have gotten a shot on Bay because Bay was looking at his friend's body at the time. How did he miss that? He must have immediately taken a right turn. Oh, and Frosty coming and getting killed too, but wow.
Things that happen when you're trying to panic, when that
is
blowing, and when we've got 40 seconds left in this game to try and salvage it. Things start getting a little fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile,
make the mistakes under pressure.
With the last 15 seconds, I think in terms of BLUFOR, the MVP is Alfie, who has stayed AFK in the spawn zone the entire time.
I am just surprised that nobody has shot him.
I don't know how he's still alive.
What's
yeah, I didn't even notice Alfie was AFK, and he has a stick. He could have been great against the remaining BTR.
Anyway, my point is, if you want to play to win and survive in this game, I mean, he's one of 2 BLUFOR guys still alive. Nope, he's the last BLUFOR guy alive, because Melk just got killed by Quigley. So, if you want to play to succeed, play like Alfie. I think he's the true winner here. Didn't even get shot.
Nope, not even an
Absolutely amazing.